Hello, hello. How is everybody? Oh my god, it's Thursday. Yay! I love Thursdays. I get really excited about Thursdays because it being Thursday means that Sam is always home on Friday. Or generally, if he's going to be home, he's home on Friday. So it's only one more day of the week. So today I want to talk about something, and I was already live earlier, so I am going to keep it fairly short today. But this has been coming up a lot for me this week, and I've been seeing a lot of people. I might put my jacket on because it's a little bit cold. Been seeing a lot of people who've been asking questions about making money in their business, and I've seen a lot of people who are like, I'm really frustrated with the amount of money that I'm making in my business. And so this live is designed to kind of help you combat that. All right, so let me know when you get here. It'll be a fairly quick live today because it's Storm Doris has hit the UK, and for the first time all day it is sunny, so I might actually go for a little walk later on, and grab some sunshine in the less than 50-mile-an-hour wind. Hey Patsy, how are you? So yeah, if you're here, say hello, and if you're here and you know other people that should be here or that will want to be here that are usually on the lives, hit the little share button and type in their names, and then they can catch it later on. So, hey Mama. So today, I've had a ton of people this week who have messaged me. I know Doris is going absolutely loopy. I don't know whether you can hear it, but it's literally whistling. And I live in a second floor flat, so I am somebody that's like looking out my balcony now. I've had to bring my pot plant inside. I'll show you. I'll show you my little pot plant, which is currently living in my living room, because it was so cold outside and so windy that it kept falling, like almost falling into the balcony doors, which is not what I necessarily want. So anyway, today's training, it's an important one. It's actually a really important one. It's probably the most important one that I'll do in here for a little while. Not in terms of content, because we always give good content, but in terms of what I want people to take away from it. And the reason that is because I've had a ton of messages this week from people who have been unhappy about the amount of money that they are making in their business. And that's why I'm doing this live. Oh no, you're at Glasgow. Oh God, of course you're travelling. Oh no, Storm Doris has got you. Hopefully it will settle down soon. I know that some of my friends are trying to travel back from weird and wonderful places, and all the flights into the UK have been cancelled. Apparently it's just a nightmare to travel this week. But yeah, so this is basically for those people who are like, I'm not making the money that I want to in my business. And there might be a little bit of tough love in here, right? So I wrote a post this morning that apparently resonated with quite a few people on my personal profile about why sales is the most important tool that you must have in your business outside of the skills that you've already mastered. And I firmly believe that to be true. And I went out before I wrote the post. So I was like, I'm going to go and research this just to kind of check that, you know, I'm happy giving the right facts. And so I went and I was looking at recent studies of investments in companies, and typically the investment and the funding goes to the sales team because the sales teams are the ones generating the cash in the business, right? And there was a really interesting example that was brought up that talked about a conference that was a sales, they have like an annual sales kickoff conference in the UK with a big technological firm. And the person starting the conference said, look, if you are somebody who has a quota to meet, so if you are somebody who has a cash target to meet in your job, stand up. And so around the room, all of these people who were selling like technology software and stuff. Hey Helen, how are you, my love? You're going to love this one. So around the room, all of these people that were salespeople at the conference stood up. And everybody else who wasn't a salesperson remained seated. And the guy who was opening up the conference said, okay, everybody that is sitting down, look at those people and figure out how you can support them better. Because they are the ones that are generating the revenue that are helping you grow your company. So he had all of these CEOs, all of these board members, all of these people in hugely important job roles, you know, and I'm not discounting that at all. I'm not discounting that those job roles are important, because they really are. But he had them look at those people who were in the sales divisions and say, look, those are the people that are helping your company grow. Those are the people that are generating the money for you to create your long-term plans. And that really struck a chord with me, because when I worked in the corporate world, it was really, really difficult, and we were always being given really, really high targets. We were very, very challenged in terms of the environments we were working with, and we were always told whatever we made, it wasn't good enough. We always had to make more. There always had to be, you know, higher target. There always had to be, you know, newer things coming in. And that was a challenging job, and it's long hours, and it's hard work, and it takes a lot of persistence and resilience and determination. And a lot of people don't value sales as a skill. And certainly when I was in corporate, a lot of my colleagues who I hugely loved and respected from other departments were like, oh yeah, but sales is kind of easy, really. Like, you just call a bunch of people and eventually one will buy. And it's interesting, because some of these people have now gone into their own businesses, and suddenly they've realised that actually selling isn't about just calling a bunch of people and hoping that one of them is going to take your stuff. It's about actually targeting the right audience and being able to identify your ideal clients and present an offer that's going to be great and that's going to sell out. And it's a bit harder than it looks. And so when I put out this post this morning about, you know, sales being the most important skill you have in your business outside of the area that you've mastered, outside of your technical skill, I got a ton of messages from people who were like, oh, well, actually, I think, you know, mindset is really important, which it is. And I think that there are other areas that are really important. But interestingly, what all of these people said in their messages was not, oh, well, mindset's more important, or this is more important. They came back and they said, yeah, I think these areas are important, but I agree. If you cannot sell in your business, you do not have a business. And it was overwhelming for me, because honestly, even in corporate where you are hired to be a salesperson, they didn't have that level of recognition that actually salespeople kept the business going. You know, they were what funded the business. And so it's really interesting to see the difference between the corporate world, who kind of take salespeople for granted, and the entrepreneurial world, which is people who are actually trying to do it themselves and realizing how difficult it is. Now, that was just something that I noticed today. And when I was thinking about it, and when I was planning out this live stream at the beginning of the week, and I was thinking about how important sales truly is, usually I would say, okay, well, you know, sales is important, other things are too. Joyce, I needed Jess Alarm for lives. If you hit the follow button, it will tell you. It will tell you when I'm live. It will be like, Joyce, Jess is live. I'm not sure whether it will be as jazzy as that, but can't guarantee anything. But I get them when like Helen goes live and stuff. But yeah, so I wasn't really, it wasn't that I was kind of like, you know, other areas don't matter. But in terms of building your business, and this goes for anyone, this goes for whether you're somebody who's completely new to business, or whether you're 18 months in, or whether you're 5 years down the line. To run a successful business as an entrepreneur, you must be able to sell. So please don't look at selling as being something that other people do, because it's not. You know, please don't look at it as being like a natural skill, because it's not. It's a learned skill, it's a learned behaviour. And please don't look at it as something that should come second to having a great website, or making great graphics, or, you know, writing a blog, or something like that, because those things are really, really important. They genuinely are, and those things will absolutely help drive your business forward. But without sales, without the ability to sell, your business will not make money. And that's the thing that I'm very, very conscious of. And I've seen a lot of posts, and I've had a lot of messages about it where people have said, I'm really struggling to make money in my business. And when I've asked the people, what is your key focus? Where are you focusing on making money? Like, what money-making activities are you focusing on? They've said, I've written a blog. I've updated my website. And I'm like, no, that's not a money-making activity. A money-making activity is actively asking for a sale. It's getting people on the phone. It's, you know, having a clear call to action. It's emailing your list with an offer. It's talking about an offer in a blog. It's way, way more than making something look nice, you know, and what a lot of people are focusing on right now. Exactly, Joyce, right? A lot of people are focusing on the passive activity. And those are the things that you do when your business is at a point where you're making steady monthly revenue, where you're making that 5k a month or 10k a month, and you go, okay, cool, I'm going to get some other genius to go and fix my website, or to, you know, create all my graphics, or do all of that kind of thing. Because then you can pay somebody else who it's going to take a lot less time and a lot less effort to do it. And it's not going to take you away from what you are best at. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, as one entrepreneur to another, please, 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 if you do not know about sales, get an education on it. I don't care if it's from me. There are lots of sales coaches out there. There are lots of sales books out there. There are lots of resources out there. You know, you can go and look at YouTube tutorials for all I care. But you must get a sales education. It is imperative to your business. If you are not looking at sales, if you are not seeing how important it is in your business, you are leaving money on the table, and that really, really concerns me. You know, and when I was kind of looking at it this morning, and I was looking at the messages coming in from people who were saying, oh, you know, I'm doing my branding and stuff, that's great, and that really is, and it's something you should focus on, but not right now. If at the moment you are somebody who is sat there thinking, I do not have the amount of clients I want in my business, or I do not have the right clients in my business that are purchasing from me, or I'm not in front of my ideal clients and nobody is buying, you need to be focused on sales activity. You know, not branding, not your website, not your graphics, not anything like that, until you're making that steady amount of income. And then, absolutely go and do all that stuff. Do all the fun bits that you actually really like, you know. And when I say about, oh, don't do your branding, don't do this, there are obviously elements you do need to make sales. You need a clear message to make sales. You do need, you know, somewhere for people to pay you to make sales. Those things are obvious. But don't let them distract you from the task at hand, which is your business must make money in order to help more people. And to do that, you must focus on how to sell. And you've got to find a style that works for you. You've got to educate yourself around sales, and you've got to start making money, and then go and do all the other stuff, right? Hey, Katya, it's your first ever FFE Live. Woo, 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 woo. Are you still in the airport? Katya's got stuck because of Storm Doris, and I felt so awful for you this morning. I was like, no, trying to find you flights. Oh, thanks, Mema. Go to Jess though, she's awesome. And you know, honestly, guys, I don't mind who you choose. I don't care if you go with me or another sales coach or YouTube videos or books or whatever you choose. But you must recognize how important sales are in your business, and you must have a strategy to make it work. Because otherwise, you end up with a very, very expensive hobby, and all that happens is you get disheartened. You don't do the money-making activities because you become scared of rejection. It's like this vicious cycle that just doesn't work, you know. And now there are companies proving that. I don't want anyone in here to get caught up in the, oh, I'm going to do all the things and forget to sell, because as a business owner, selling is your primary objective, and everything else, you know, comes after you've made the money to pay for it, right? Does anybody have any questions on that? I'm sorry, it's quite a blunt live, but I was like, there is no way of putting this that I can't, because I can't stress how important it is. It is not, and I want to clarify that absolutely, it is not me saying that the other areas of your business are not important. That is not it at all, because they absolutely are integral. Things like clarity. You have to have clarity on who you want to serve before you can sell anything. Because if you don't know what you're selling or who you're selling it to, not going to happen, right? Things like your message. You've got to have a clear message to be able to sell. You know, because if you don't, it's going to be very difficult for you to communicate to your audience. So there are absolutely, you know, things that you must work on. Confidence, all that kind of stuff. but you also must be selling all the time. And at the beginning of the year, I did a live on why I'm selling every single day in 2017. And honestly, you know, there were so many people that went, yes, I totally resonate with that are not doing it, you know, and I don't want to watch people get stuck in the middle of March being like, oh, Jess, I'm still where I was in January, because that's not cool either, you know. Asker, hello, my love. How do you start overcoming fears around sales? I always feel pushy. Like, even mentioning it once is pushy. I totally get where you are. And like I was saying earlier, sales is a learned skill. It's not something that, you know, I didn't wake up and was like a sales genius. That's not how it works. I'm not a guru or anything. But it takes time. And generally what happens is when we start thinking, oh, well, if I mention it once, it's pushy, or it's, you know, people are going to get angry at me for mentioning it. It's because we actually fear rejection. It's not because we really think that by telling them once, hey, look, I've given you all this value and I've got something that would help you even more, is pushy. It's because we fear them saying no. And that's fine. You know, it's natural to not want to be rejected, right? However, if you never kind of step out, it's going to be really, really tough to let people see how amazing you are. And I'm somebody, I used to get no's all the time, right? And this is one of the things. Like, I would, in corporate, I'd call people, and before I'd even said anything, they'd be like, no. And it was horrible. Like, it was horrible, and it was horrifying, and it was just, people were rude and mean, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now, because of that experience, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. If somebody says no, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to cry about it all night. It's not going to make me particularly upset, because at the end of the day, I completely 100% believe that if anybody works with me, they get the results they want. You know, they do. My clients do get results, right? And so actually, if I don't tell them about it, it's me doing them a disservice. It's me being like really selfish, because I know I can help people. I know I can make them money. I know that my strategies will help them achieve the financial goals they want. So if I don't say anything, they just sit there and struggle, right? They're just kind of left there to drown in a lack of sales, and then they get stuck in that vicious cycle with a lack of confidence, and they don't want to sell, and then they don't sell, and then they don't make money, and right? I want to be a sales genius. I want to be like you. Oh, thank you. But it's honestly, it's a learned thing. And it really is. And there are so many different types of ways to sell. It also depends on the style that you're using. Some people's style works really, really well for them and not for other people. And, you know, I took certifications, 4 different sales certifications when I was in the corporate world, and as I've come into my own business around sales. And there are 16 different sales types. You know, there are 6 different closing types. There are hundreds of ways to sell. And unfortunately, sometimes what we see online are 2 very distinct ways. And it comes down to aggressive selling, which is buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, or ways that aren't always easily replicatable because they're done based on people's personalities rather than strategic sales guidelines, right? And so it becomes very difficult because some people sell through their personality and it works great for them because maybe they're really funny, or maybe they're really quirky, or maybe they have a really distinct framework for something. And unfortunately, that doesn't always work for somebody else who perhaps is a bit more introverted, or, you know, who doesn't want to put themselves out on Facebook Live, or who wants to only use blogging or something like that. You know, there are so many different types of ways. And so what we actually have to look at is, how do you sell? And what feels good for you? And how can you do that in a way that really maximizes your revenue, in a way that feels really good for you and for your client, right? I think my fear is more about pushing my stuff to people who don't need it, as not every single woman on my list probably wants my services. So do a bit of list hygiene. You know, email your list and be like, hey, I do this. If you are still interested in this, click here. And then everybody that clicks through, you know they are interested in what you do. and you can just go and talk to them all day long about that particular topic which you love. And the more you love it and the more passionate you are about it, the easier it is for them to see how it would impact their life. You know, you've also got to look at things like pain points, transformation points. You know, this is the thing about sales. It's not just about the call. And that's what people tend to think, oh, the pitch is the scary bit. In reality, it's very rare that you have to make a pitch if you're incredibly good at the attract stage. That's my mum calling. My mum giving me a call. If you're good at the attract stage and the pre-sale stage, it's very rare that you ever have to make a pitch. So it might be that you're somebody who's like, oh, maybe that feels uncomfortable for me. Maybe pitching feels uncomfortable for me. But what you could do is create an entire sales funnel and a sales sequence that is designed to nurture people so well and by so well I don't mean for years, that is designed to nurture them so well that actually it's much easier for them to make the buying decision rather than you having to be all the time, please buy, please buy, please buy, right? I love it, Joyce. Or if you have something that boring like bookkeeping and accounting, that's not boring. And this is the thing, right? I was saying this to somebody the other day. In the online world, it's become really, really popular to sell things that make money. You know, so everyone's a business coach. And that's cool. If you genuinely are a business coach, good for you. But we've kind of got to a point now where it's like everyone's a business coach. And when I've asked people about it and I've said, look, why are you a business coach? I genuinely hope to hear that they've had a business before that's been successful and that's why they want to teach other people how to do it. Or they came from a business background where they built businesses or they dealt with online business or something. And actually what tends to happen is people go, yeah, but business coaches make more money, so I'm going to be a business coach. And that really upsets me. Not just because it means that we've got people out there who aren't qualified teaching other people how to do stuff they don't know how to do, because that does upset me. But also, it takes just as much effort, right? This is the thing that really gets me. It takes just as much effort to sell something that you're not an expert at as it takes to sell something that you genuinely love and you're genuinely passionate about. So if it takes the same amount of effort, why not just sell the thing that you genuinely love doing? Because otherwise you end up getting stuck effectively in a job that you didn't want to do anyway. You know, that's what really grinds my gears about it. It's like people are doing things and feeling stuck in a role that actually they didn't want in the first place, but because they felt like they would make more money in that role, they're going to go off and do that. And it's like, well, if you're really passionate about something, do that. Do what you're passionate about. Do what you love. Stop doing the things that you think are going to make you more money, because the likelihood is they're not going to, because you're not as passionate about them, because you can't communicate how excited you are, how many lives it's going to change. You don't know, right? So take the time, get the thing that you're really excited about, that you're really jazzed about, and sell that. It's going to take you just as much effort. You can make just as much money. Like it doesn't, honestly. I've seen clients of mine that have been in completely different areas than business coaches, you know, website designers. I've had people that, you know, sell products. I have one guy that made like boots for dogs to stop their feet getting wet. Made a ton of money, you know, and that's what he was really passionate about. That's what he wanted to do. And he did it. You know, but if he'd have looked online and been like, okay, well, everyone making money as a business coach, I'm going to go and be a business coach, that would have really set him back, right? Joyce, what are the sales activities? I will put the money-making checklist in here for you when I'm done. And you can have that and you can go and have a little look. But the money-making activities are all around anything that is going to be a clear call to action for your audience. You know, it could be that you sell in an email. It could be that you sell on a live stream. It could be that you have a discovery call with someone. It could be that you email your list about an offer that you've got. It could be that you write a guest post or go on a podcast and talk about an offer. There's loads and loads of things that you could do that are money-making activities that are not necessarily being in front of people and saying, hey, buy my thing. Loads. I love that. Joyce, thanks for that. Genuinely love the empowerment that comes with knowing your numbers. Yes, exactly. And I say this all the time. You have to track your money, right? It's not a direct money maker for my clients, but indirect when I show them where to focus. Exactly. And that's the thing, like, these services are so integral. You know, I would not, and I said this to somebody the other day. They asked what was the first thing I invested in my business. An accountant. Genuinely, first person I invested in my business was an accountant. Because I'm not good with numbers and stuff. You know, I didn't want to sit and work out my expenses and work out my taxes. And, you know, I just wanted to wake up and know that I was completely protected and that I had money I could spend and money that I put away and would be able to pay tax and bills and all that kind of good stuff with, right? And these things are integral to your business. You know, accounting, legal, you've got to be protected. You've got to look after your business. And it doesn't matter that, like, you know, when people are selling them and they go, oh yeah, but it's really boring. Well, it's not, because how bored am I, you know, when I suddenly get like a massive legal issue and I'm thinking, shoot, I don't have a lawyer, what do I do? You know, suddenly that person that came along that had that great legal background and all those templates, they look great right now from where I'm sitting, you know. Or, you know, what happens when it gets to the end of the tax year and I realise that actually I've overspent by like £1 million. Suddenly that accountant, that software looks really good to me right now. It's, you know, nobody's service is irrelevant and nobody's service is boring. And so what I don't understand is why we're not selling it more often. You know, I'm genuinely, and I said this in the live for Josie earlier, I am so proud of what I do. I really am, because what I do changes lives. People make more money, yeah, that's cool. But more importantly, they gain financial freedom working with me, because they make more money and they do it in a way that means they have more time to spend on stuff they actually want to do. So of course I'm going to shout about that, and of course it's cool. And when people come to me and they say, oh yeah, but Jess, it's alright because you're in the money making game. Well, no, because there are so many people in it. It's a, you know, it's the same for me, right? You know, just because I'm in the money making industry, I'm not a business coach. I'm not helping people set up businesses. I'm not telling them how to do it and that they're going to make, you know, 100k in 6 months. That's not what my business is about. My business is about, okay, what is your financial goal? Let's go hit that. And let's give you a solid sales strategy that's going to work and that's going to make you the money that you want. And then it's your job to go and create a sustainable business. You know, that's where my responsibility kind of goes. I help people make money, and then it's their job to go and create the business. And it doesn't matter. You know, I get just as many people come through the place that say, oh, I'd love to work with you, and don't. I get just as many people that approach me and say, I'm hell yeah, and then they're not. You know, it doesn't matter. And that's the important thing. You know, if you are looking at your business, it's not about what you sell, because it's not about how much it costs. You know, I've worked in, God, you know, 9 different industries. And honestly, I've never had a problem selling in any of them. You know, I worked in financial services in the recession, and everybody said, oh, nobody's doing anything with banking because it's the recession, because they're all in a lot of trouble. And we made money then. I worked in public sector, and everyone was like, public sector never has any money. You know, the government never has any money. Hospitals never have any money. And it was actually the most profitable business sector in London at that time. I worked in luxury fashion and retail. Again, very profitable. You know, consulting, very profitable. It doesn't matter what you're selling. The point is, you need to sell it. Like, and that's the biggest thing. So if you are in that phase of your business right now where you're thinking, oh, actually, I need some more clients, please take the time to learn to sell. Like, honestly, it will completely change your business. And when you put in that sales work, in 2 months' time, when you look back and you go, oh my goodness, did I really make that amount of money in 2 months? Wow, look at all the things I can do now. And then you can outsource your website, and you can hire that VA, and you can get that cleaner, and you can, you know, set aside money for your investments and you know, your savings and all that kind of stuff. Then it's worth it, and it's worth all those fears that you've had around rejection or being pushy or, you know, not really knowing how to approach the sale. That's when it becomes worth it. All right. I love it. Joyce, totally rewatching this and the one from earlier. Golden nuggets in mindset shifts and reframing. Yay! That makes me happy. But does anybody have any questions about selling? Because for me, this is like a really integral one to talk about, because I've had so many messages from people who are like, I just want to make money. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're saying, I'm changing my branding. I'm rewriting this on my website. I'm doing my About Me page. Those are not money-making activities. Do not do those if you want to make money. Right? If you want to make money, you need to focus on client-generating activities. You need to be getting on the phone with people. You need to be selling. You know, and that ultimately is what you must be doing. And you can do it in really nice ways. I mean, I'm not a pushy salesperson. I'm somebody that I'll get on the phone with people, I'll have a chat, and it's much more really about me working out whether they're a good fit and whether I can genuinely help them, rather than me being like, oh, I'm going to try and overcome every single objection because I need the money. It's not worth it. You know, you don't have to be pushy to be a salesperson. You don't have to be sleazy to be a salesperson. You can build relationships and sell really well, and it doesn't have to take forever, but you do have to take the steps. You do have to do the money-making activities, and that is so important. All right. So has anybody got any questions? Any questions on anything? I'm like, oh, I've been leaning in and, oh, a little bit of a shake. If anybody's got any questions on selling or how to sell effectively, or, you know, anything like that, let me know. Because I think we're at a point where I really, really am keen for everybody to be taking action and thinking about how you can really make more money in your business, because you all can. You know, I came in here very honestly at the beginning of January, and I said I left hundreds of thousands on the table last year, and I did. You know, and it wasn't, you know, it's not because I'm not a good salesperson, I really am. But it's because there were things that I was like, oh, I never got around to doing that. And it wasn't because I didn't have a 6-figure launch. You know, it wasn't because I didn't take out enough Facebook ads or anything like that. It's about the small things that you do. It's about how you build relationships. It's about how you market effectively, how you use your time, and how you attract the right people, how you pre-sell them and nurture them, and then how you make the offer. That's all it is. There are only 3 stages. There is nothing else, but that's how you're going to make the sale. All right. So if anybody's got any questions, absolutely go for it. If you haven't got questions, I will sip some water. Joyce, do you find it more effective to do lives for sales purposes from your business page or in your group? I don't actually do lives from my business page all that often. I might start doing them from my business page. When I say I might start them, you've just seen my face. I might start them, potentially like not. The reason, for me, I like to do Facebook Lives in my community because I like giving value to my community. I like nurturing you guys because it's fun for me to hang out with you, and it's also really nice for me to be able to give something back to my community in terms of learning and in terms of value. So I really like that. In terms of, you know, having them on your Facebook business page, sensibly, you will get more reach on your Facebook business page, and it makes sense in that if you want to boost them or turn them into ads, it's going to be much easier for you to do, because if you do them in a group, I mean, in this group, we take them out, we remove them, my team removes them at the end of the week, and they go into the Jotties vault. So they come out of FFE and they go into the Jotties, but to do that, we have to download them, and then we, you know, when we upload them into the Jotties, it's actually really difficult, the process to get the comments and everything like that, so it can be quite challenging. Whereas if you do it from your Facebook business page, obviously those are going to be there when you put them on the ad. It's only rarely that I will boost Facebook Lives, and I think I did it, I want to say once last year, from my business page, and that's, you know, that's a sales choice on my part. I prefer to nurture my community, and I'm not about vanity metrics. And I found that sometimes it can be really, really good to look and be like, oh, I've had a lot of views on my lives, but I'm all about ROI. And when I go live in my group, I get a lot of ROI because my community learns a lot, and it helps me really nurture my tribe, and it encourages the people who are action takers to buy because they get a lot from it, and they want to do it. On my business page, I would do it if I was going to retarget with ads. I'd do it that way. So if you're, if you want more reach, if you want more clients, do it on your business page, retarget with ads. That would be what I would do. How do I provide group members with crazy value for free, but also move them to work with you and make sales at the same time? Because honestly, I don't believe you can ever give too much for free. You just can't. I know that some people go with only give the what and not the how. And that's cool. That's a cool way of doing it. For me personally, I know that a lot of people work with me because I give great value for free. And so a lot of people have come to me and been like, oh my God, what would I get if I paid? And that's it. That's why people work with me, because the value that I give for free, honestly, even though it is spectacular, and I will own the fact that it is pretty awesome, it's not even comparable to the stuff that people pay for. I mean, look at the results that my clients get. That's the thing. And that's what I believe in any industry. Your free stuff, you can be as amazing as you want, and you should give your best stuff for free. And I frequently do. I did a whole series on funnels in FFE just before Christmas. And, last month we did a lot of kind of practical sales skills, live trainings and things. And yeah, I'm happy to give away my best stuff because I want people to go, oh my God, your free stuff is amazing, so your paid stuff must be insane, which is the response I usually get. And also because actually when you look at it, people don't take action on free content all that often, which sometimes saddens me. And I think over the last 2.5 years that I've been in business, it's been about 1% of people who will take action on free material. And that's webinars, that's cheat sheets, that's lives, that's posts. We all have it. We go, oh, I'll go back and I'll implement that. And we never do. And the rare people that have had epic results, and they've come back to me and been like, oh my goodness, I tried this of yours and it really worked. How can I get more? And they come back to me as clients. So for me, I don't hide anything. I want to give my best stuff away for free because I want my community to have the best experience, because ultimately, even if somebody doesn't buy from me, it doesn't mean they're not going to go and tell everybody else they know how amazing the free trainings are. And that's it. You are going to have some people in your audience who are buyers, and you're going to have some people in your audience who are messengers. And occasionally they're going to cross over because not everybody can buy everything that you have, unless you've got like a ton of stuff that's totally stacked. And some people are going to be like, I really love you and I love what you do. I just can't afford to buy from you right now, or I'm learning something else right now, or now is not the right time. But because you give so much value, they're going to go and tell everybody else that they know. So whenever anybody asks for a sales expert, I generally get recommended. I would say probably 90% of the time of the groups that I'm actually in, any sales things that come up, somebody will always tag me and be like, Jess, go talk to Jess, and I really appreciate it. So again, I'm not of the school of thought that I don't want people only listening to my stuff for free. I don't care. I don't think they're freebie hunters. I think that's actually a really offensive term, to be honest, because I'm grateful to have people in my community. Community and connection is really important to me. And yeah, great. Yeah, it leads to sales. The majority of my sales don't come from like Facebook anyway, so that doesn't bother me. The majority of my sales comes from funnels that I have set up. So my Facebook community, although last year I think about 54% of my revenue came from Facebook, so it's the first year that it had outweighed LinkedIn, you know, it's not the proactive stuff is not where the majority of my money comes from. So it doesn't, you know, for me, it's about connection. And if you think about it, if you look at the average sales funnel, you're probably looking, your average sales funnel will take probably about 3 to 4 weeks to start generating serious cash proactively. So when you're starting your business, what you're doing is proactive selling. It's a lot quicker, you know, which is why people, and it's why I teach cash creation, for example. The people in cash creation go out there, create a ton of cash, then they can put that into creating sales funnels that will let them automate stuff and scale and leverage their business much quicker than somebody who has decided that they only want to build their business on Facebook, for example. So I don't believe in freebie hunters. I don't believe in giving too much value for free. I don't believe in any of that stuff, because ultimately it's not true. I really value everyone in my community, whether they buy from me or not. You know, I don't want to, I would never say that somebody is less valuable in my community because they don't pay me, because it's just simply not true. I get rewarded in many other ways, including referrals, you know, and just enjoying time with my community sometimes. Oh, Nicola, thank you. Samantha, I've gained so much from the free content, but working with Jess in person just doesn't compare. And it's true, right? And Nicola's somebody that's been in my community since practically the beginning. So she has been here for pretty much every every training and every single thing. And if she's telling you that, you know, there's still no comparison, there you go. Like, maybe I am a sales guru. I don't know. Joyce, that 1% is why I stopped signing up for webinars. I don't do anything with the information, so it ends up being a waste of time. Exactly. You know, and that's the thing. It's all about action. And ultimately, I find that new business owners, particularly people up to about 18 months in business, spend so much time doing the wrong things, i.e. not selling, that they consume a ton more information to make up for the fact they're not selling, because they think, oh, I'm going to use all of that and I'm going to use it to sell things, and then they don't, and then they get stuck in that cycle. You know, so it's really good that you've removed yourself from that, because I totally did at the beginning. At the beginning, I was just like, I'm going to consume everything out there, you know, and I'm just going to do, like, watch all the webinars, I'm going to download all the checklists, I'm going to take all the PDFs, and honest to goodness, I have a file on my computer of stuff that I've downloaded over the years and I've never used. I'm just like, oh my god. And I was that person in people's inboxes who had their free stuff and never used it, and I felt awful, so I ended up unsubscribing from everything, and just deleting the lot, you know, because I didn't use it. If I'd have used it, I wouldn't have cared, but I didn't, so... And that's it, right? You know, so if anybody's got any questions, if you've got any questions on how to sell, if you've got any questions on what you should be selling, if you've got any questions on booking things like discovery calls, you know, please do let me know. That's what I'm here for. But please do make sales a priority. Like, if you haven't made it a priority this week, no worries. That week, you know, it happens. We all have those weeks where we're like, I just don't want to sell this week, and that's fine. But don't beat yourself up about it. Just think, next week I need to make sales a key part of my plan, and think about how you're going to do that. And if you're somebody who is not sure on selling, please go and get education. You know, watch the lives in this group, attend the live trainings. You know, get the books, read the sales books that you think are going to be useful. Hire a sales coach, me or not. Like, I'm really not bothered, but please, please, please make sure that you get a sales education, because it really, really is the most integral part of anything that you can do in your business, if you're somebody who is like, I want more clients or more money so that I can automate. All right? I love it. Kirsty, that hashtag is amazing. When you join at the end of the live and you just want to watch it want it to finish so you can watch the replay. Go for it. But yeah, so if anyone's got any questions, then go. Oh, great question. What sales books would I recommend? I would recommend The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. Great book. Also, Jeffrey is great. I would recommend Gary Vee's Jab, 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 Right Hook. I would recommend Grant Cardone's The 10X Rule. I would recommend, there's something called The Selling Cycle which is also very good. So check a few of those out. Those are my kind of go-tos. Those are the ones I really love. But if you want, it depends on what you want, really, sales-wise. I like a lot about sales psychology and about how people work and why people buy, and looking at that in a way that we can then use to sell with integrity. That's something that's just really, really interesting to me. But there are a lot of books on practical selling, where it's things like how to close a sales call or how to handle objections and stuff like that. So those are the ones I would start with, because they are really, really good, especially for entrepreneurs. That's the best thing. They're kind of targeted towards entrepreneurs. And then as time goes on, I'd start reading stuff around sales psychology and why people buy, and that kind of stuff, because I find it much more interesting. Much more interesting, but it's you need to do the basics first. You know, Picasso didn't just start drawing people with like eyes in the sides of their heads. He started looking at perspective and then, you know, mastering that and then playing around with it. So do the basics first, then move to the advanced stuff. All right, my lovelies. If nobody else has any questions, I will shoot off. I will go for my Storm Doris walk and get blown away into the sea. But if you do need anything, you know, feel free to watch the replay of this, and grab the trainings in the group, because they're available until the end of the week, when they will go into the Dotty Vault, never to be seen again. And if you've got any questions, you can always tag me in the comments. You can tag me in a post in the group. You can send me a message or an email or something, and just let me know where you're struggling and what you need help with. All right, my loves, have a wicked weekend. I may pop in tomorrow and do like a little bit of a post, because I got some cool stuff coming out at the end of the week. But yeah, like I say, sales, make it a priority in your business. Don't discount everything else, but really, really focus on making sales a priority. See you soon.